Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles. Something seriously strange is going on over at Ubisoft, and nobody's really sure what. Whatever it is, it does not look good. Literally minutes before they were set to deliver their financial report for the first half of the current financial year, they put the brakes on the whole thing, postponed the release until some unspecified future date, and then requested that the European Stock Exchange halt trading of the company's shares and bonds from November the 14th until they could publish their financial report, which still hasn't happened. Now, I am no financial expert, I am no economist, so you should probably treat my take on this with a very, very large dose of salt. However, generally speaking, while I once again acknowledge that I am no expert on these matters, I cannot think of a single occasion in living memory when a company asked that trading in its stocks cease because they had good news to break. Generally speaking, when this sort of thing happens, particularly when they suddenly decline to publish a financial report in the minutes before asking that trading cease in their stocks, it's usually because there's some major bad news announcement about to break that they are terrified is going to result in panic selling of their stock. Like I said though, I am no financial expert, so if there are any finance experts out there who can think of a single good reason, and when I say good, I mean good for Ubisoft, a single good reason why the company would cease trading on its shares and bonds and fail to publish a financial report by the expected date, then please let us know in the comments. Because, I mean, you never know. Just because it looks like they've got something to hide, sounds like they've got something to hide, and smells like they've got something to hide, doesn't necessarily mean they've got something to hide. You never know. They've probably got something to hide. While we're on the subject of keeping things hidden, or companies who wished they'd kept things hidden. So one of Russia's first humanoid AI robots was unveiled on stage to an audience of reporters in Moscow this week. I don't think I could be accused of exaggerating if I were to say it did not go well. The robot, or possibly the company making the robot, I'm not sure, it's called Idol, as in something famous, but also AI doll. Yeah, you get it? Clever name. Presentation not so clever. So, to the strains of the Rocky theme music, this thing shuffles onto stage with a couple of minders. It literally managed to walk forwards about 4 feet, very, very unsteady on its feet, attempted to wave at the audience and immediately fell over and face planted. As the 2 minders struggled to pick it up, and a third guy came running onto the stage with a sheet, trying to hide it. I mean, I don't know what he thought he was trying to hide at that point. The damage had already been done. But it was absolutely hilarious. It was right up there with Bill Gates unveiling Windows 98. Does anybody remember this one? 20 years ago. Big product unveil. Windows 98, the latest and greatest piece of software from Microsoft. Bill Gates himself demonstrating it live on stage, packed audience, the world's press lined up. I mean, of course they were, it's Microsoft. It doesn't get much bigger. And halfway through the presentation, blue screen of death. Speaking of dodgy AI robots, although Western ones this time, has anybody seen this, what's it called? 1X Neo. It's a domestic robot. It's actually currently available on sale. I mean, it's $20,000, but it's available. They have a website, they have everything. You can actually go and spend money, $20,000, buying a domestic robot. It's a humanoid robot. It looks only vaguely creepy. They've had press launches for it. You know, it's a real thing. It's not, well, I say it's not a scam. That depends on your interpretation of the word scam. It's a $20,000 AI-powered robot designed to perform household tasks like doing the laundry, washing the dishes, emptying the dishwasher, and so on and so on and so on. $20,000, remember, supposed to be capable of doing all kinds of household chores. I saw a video on YouTube this week where somebody had managed to get into a presentation for this 1X Neo robot. The security's probably not the right word, but they had a couple of these robots on the door. It was invitation only. You know, if you didn't have an invitation, you weren't supposed to be able to get into this presentation. And this guy just walked right up and said, "I am on the list." And the robots let him in. So, not an encouraging start. The robots on the door assigned to the job of checking people's names off against the list were incapable of checking people's names off against the list. As this guy went inside and he was recording the whole thing, he noticed that there was a robot bartender, or what he thought was a robot bartender. I mean, why wouldn't there be a robot bartender? This is, after all, supposed to be a presentation showcasing exactly the sort of thing that these domestic household robots are capable of doing in the home. Why wouldn't one of them be capable of serving you a drink? Except this one wasn't capable of serving anybody a drink. It was at the bar, but it wasn't mixing the drinks. There was a human bartender there doing that. The robot was just kind of standing next to him, dancing. Well, I say dancing. It was moving its arms and shoulders around rhythmically. Whether that would qualify as a dance is, well, completely subjective. But I know one thing. If I'm paying $20,000 for a household robot, I don't want it to stand there boogieing on down while I'm making drinks for myself. You know, you don't buy a dog and then wag your own tail, do you? And then it gets worse, because as the barman actually gave one of the drinks that the barman himself had mixed to the robot to serve to one of the customers, the robot ended up throwing the glass across the room. Again, this at an event designed to showcase the capabilities of these autonomous household robots. Not, I'm sure you'll agree, a great start. But it's actually worse than it at first appears, because none of these autonomous household robots at the presentation were actually autonomous at the time. Every single one of them was being remote controlled by a telepresence by an operator elsewhere in the building. And they still couldn't get it right. And apparently people are buying these things. I mean, it begs the question, who is paying $20,000 for an autonomous household robot that's incapable of completing basic household tasks, unless it's being remote controlled by one of the company's operators? Because this is the thing. It's actually mentioned in the literature and on the company's website. I mean, aside from the fact that, one, remember, these things are supposed to be completely autonomous. That's the whole idea. They're supposed to be there to free up your time so you can do other things rather than the laundry or the dishes or whatever. And yet, they also recommend that you are always there to supervise the robot when it's doing the things that you're supposed to be able to leave it to do by itself. And if it gets them wrong, you are encouraged to call the company so that one of their telepresence operators can remote control it. So it's not actually doing what you've paid $20,000 for it to do, which kind of begs the question, what exactly is the product here? Because it's clearly not the robot, and if you can't figure out what the product is, well, the product is almost always actually you. What I think is actually going on here, and if this is the case, they must have some seriously wealthy investors, because the company itself must be losing money hand over fist on these robots because they just don't work. And at $20,000 a pop, it's not like they're in every household. Well, I say they just don't work. They don't. Yet. So what I think is actually happening here is they're basically generating training data for the AI powering these robots. You, yourself, are basically paying well, not you, hopefully you've got more sense than that, but whoever, the San Francisco tech bros, whoever are buying these things, are essentially training them for the company so that the next generation will be marginally less shit. Kind of in the same way that Tesla, despite appearances, aren't actually in the business of selling cars. The cars that they sell are just a way of gathering driving data from you, the driver. You are Tesla's product, not the cars that you're buying from them. It's the data generated by you manually driving the car that Elon Musk has been promising will be fully autonomous within the next 2 years for the last 13 years. It's that data that's being gathered by Tesla that might at some point one day eventually result in Teslas being fully autonomous. But make no mistake, the car is not the product. You are. And I think the same thing's going on with these 1X Neo robots, because they're about as autonomous as a brick. I mean, they are truly pathetically bad. And the only possible way I can think that this makes any kind of sense whatsoever is that some AI company with seriously deep pockets is bankrolling the whole thing just to collect the data, because they're clearly never going to make their money back just by selling the robots alone. Continuing the theme of stuff that's clearly not working the way it's supposed to, Fallout 4 celebrated its... Yeah, you know what's coming. You must have heard the news. Fallout 4 just celebrated its 10th anniversary by releasing a 10th anniversary edition of Fallout 4, which broke Fallout 4. Because of course it did. It's Bethesda. I mean, it's not like they don't have a track record of this sort of thing. Does everybody remember the Skyrim Anniversary Edition in 2021? With update 1.6, completely fucked up Skyrim. And then did it again with another big update in 2023. Well, now it's Fallout 4's turn, because it's just impossible for Bethesda to touch anything without turning it into shit. I mean, it's the world's cheapest and, well, not cheap, cheap as in shitty, and laziest anniversary edition of any Bethesda game ever in the first place, because basically all it is Fallout 4 packaged with the 2 DLCs and a whole bunch of Creation Club mods. This is all stuff that already exists. Nobody at Bethesda had to write anything new. All of this stuff has been available on Steam and various other places, the Bethesda launcher as well, for example, for donkey's years. Let's face it, if you're a Fallout 4 fan, you've probably got all or most of this stuff anyway. You've got Automatron, Far Harbor, Nuka World, 3 workshop expansions, more than 150 Creation Club items, and a new... Oh, here it is. Yeah, wonder no more, mystery solved. All of this pre-existing stuff that's been around on Steam or various other places for years, but they just had to also put in a new in-game creations menu that Bethesda says will make it easier than ever to discover, download and enjoy content from professional developers and passionate enthusiasts alike. Yeah, there it is. Everything worked, but they just couldn't resist fucking with it, could they? And they've broken everything. People can't even get the game running. The creations menu doesn't exist. It's breaking existing mods. It's almost a case of all they had to do was nothing. They just had to offer all of this existing DLC as a bundle and call it the 10th anniversary edition. It would have been the laziest and, well, like I said, not cheapest, but the laziest possible 10th anniversary edition. But it would have worked. But no, they're Bethesda. They couldn't resist fucking with it. I mean, on the one hand, if you're a Bethesda fan, you're kind of used to every new iteration of whichever version of Fallout Bethesda have just shit out, coming with all kinds of legacy bugs that were introduced as early as Fallout 3 15 years ago, still in the creation engine to this day. But they've actually managed to introduce new ones. They've introduced new bugs into a game that's 10 years old. You have to be Bethesda to manage to accomplish this level of fuck-uppery. It's... Well, I was going to say it's truly astonishing, but it isn't. It's par for the course, because it's Bethesda. I don't know why anybody's acting surprised. One guy complained, "Game absolutely refuses to let you attempt to install anything involving the Creation Club and freezes upon launching and quitting the game to the point where you can't even use the Task Manager or Steam to force close it." Various reviews have pointed out an inability to connect or load up the Creations menu at all. Others state that even when the Creations bundle does work, not all of the creations mentioned are actually in the bundle. I quote, "Does not include all creations, still more microtransactions to follow, that or it's bugged." Another review said that the Creations tab in the main menu seems to be broken, can't tell what I own, what's a mod, or what's a Creation Club piece of content. Well, naturally, Bethesda, very, very quick to fix all of these issues. Well, sort of. They kind of were, and they kind of weren't. They were very, very quick, like literally the day after all of the negative reviews and bugs started flooding in. They were extremely quick to fix the Atom Store and everybody's ability to connect to it and process microtransactions. Like that got fixed instantly. Is it the Atom Store? I know they call it the Atom Store in Fallout 76. I don't know what the Fallout 4 version is. Might be the same thing. Don't know. Whatever. They fixed the in-game store and made sure that you were able to pay them money for microtransactions. As for everything else, you know, the things that people were actually complaining about, they've got a fix coming for that, like maybe in the next week or so. You know, while it is fun to sit here and just shit all over Bethesda in general and Todd Howard in particular, who, without a whiff of self-awareness, recently gave an interview talking about how Bethesda was learning from its past mistakes. Honestly, these jokes just write themselves. But while it is fun to shit all over them, at some point you have to concede the fact that you're the problem, not Bethesda. You're the one that keeps giving them money. You've got to stop encouraging these fuckers. If they're just continually squatting out bug-ridden pieces of unimaginative shit, product after product, Fallout 76, Starfield, Fallout 4, 10th Anniversary Edition, the transaction is very simple and straightforward, and absolutely nobody should be surprised by it at this point. Bethesda continues shitting out low-effort, bug-ridden slop, product after product, and people keep lining up and throwing their wallets at them. So they have zero incentive whatsoever to clean their act up and start actually giving a shit. Why should they? The market has proven over and over again that they can continue to get away with this shit. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. The sooner you start voting with your wallet, the sooner one of two things will happen. Either Bethesda will suddenly start to give a shit, because they can do it. They are capable, or they used to be capable, of making great games. Great games with lots of bugs, but great games all the same. So either that happens, or they go bankrupt, somebody who gives a shit buys the Fallout license, and you might actually see a decent Fallout game once again within your lifetime. Either way, we win. So start voting with your wallet. And on that bombshell, that is it for this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles. I hope it's given you something to think about, and hopefully something to talk about in the comments. Come on, get the discussion going. I can't be the only one who enjoys shitting on Bethesda. Let's make a party out of it. You all know where the comment section is. I'll bring the popcorn. See you there. And I'll see you next time, because that is it for today. Take care.